Hey, how's it going? I have I pulled some cards and I have had on my mind, like most people, I think, the recent event in Minneapolis where one of the ICE agents took the life of a woman trying to leave her house. I don't know if people realize that Renee Good was in front of her house, like trying to leave to go probably to work or something. And so there's a lot of interpretations of what happened. And I just learned that, and I'm not surprised by this, that the video shown by our government has probably been messed with, and they only showed one angle, which I thought that seems absolutely wrong, because the government has investigators, and I don't know if you've been watching the police procedurals over the over the past like 50 years, but investigations generally try to take in literally all of the angles. And so I had just said what I was trying to present as a calmer voice on the matter just after it happened. I was like, we don't need experts. All we need are our eyes, all of the angles, and the truth to know what happened. Because here, actually, that's not what I said. It is. I said a few things. I made a few posts. One of them I said what I just laid out, and then the other was like, shoot, now I can't remember. I hate it when that happens. I will remember, though. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. I actually, my source, I'm going to tell you, was from a psychic, so I know that, like, everybody doesn't want to accept that as any kind of reality, but bear with me. You know, someone asked them, do you think that the video, the one angle that makes it look completely terrible that the government came out with was doctored? And I saw it, and I was like, what did they have to doctor? They just showed the other side of the car where you can't see what the action was. You can just see one guy over here, and then he goes over there, and then boom, pow, and then her car is driving into a pole. So, yeah, but I'm not surprised that they would mess with it. Like, well, yeah, I would expect that, actually, from them. But again, I don't know why they would have, what they had to doctor from the video that they showed, which showed enough of nothing for them to just mess with the narrative and tweak it any way they wanted to, which, you know, go check the record. You don't need me to just describe it to you. So anyway, I was watching a different psychic right before I started doing this, and he was saying, excuse me, that he hoped black people, or actually he said Black Lives Matter, which is like an organization that's not like all of us black people. I don't think any of us want any of us to just be slaughtered the way we have for a very long time. Clearly our lives are not as valuable to the people that tend to kill us, which unfortunately are authority figures, but I'm not gonna go down that particular rabbit hole. But I just want to say that this person was like, yes, it would be so beautiful if, like, I think he was equating Black Lives Matter with the black people, and that's not a monolith of we all agree on the same things. Not any more than it would be of any other large group of people, there's going to be diversity in ideas. So, what I have been seeing on YouTube, because that's pretty much the platform that I have that does that kind of thing. I don't have TikTok, but a lot of TikTok comes to YouTube. And so I'm seeing all of these viewpoints, and I know this bothers the crap out of my family, but I'm just not as black as they would like me to be. And I'm aware of it. Like, sorry, I mean, at a pretty early age, my mom yanked me out of black neighborhoods, and I was in the white neighborhoods, so get off me. I'm not like, I have now discarded this other life that I had with mostly populated with black people. I was a kid. Like, I didn't have a choice. I wasn't all, I eschew you black people. I'm going with the white people. Like, sometimes I don't know what people think. And my mom, who actually was a white Creole, look it up. I'm not even going to try. She was kind of neither group. So, yeah. That is perhaps for a whole nother video. But, so, my perspective is also very different from that of my family's, and then I am just different from like everybody, but I guess that's a light worker thing, or an old soul, or starseed, something. I will accept any of those monikers. So, I'm saying I'm kind of not really paying a whole lot of attention to like black stuff. But in the wake of the Diddy incident, there was so much, and I started watching, and you have to filter for like what's what's been messed with artificially and what kind of information you're getting. But what's happened is I've watched so much of it from many different sources on like BlackTube that I'm getting like an interesting sort of differently layered picture of what's happening there. And so it started with just watching the Diddy stuff, but then political opinions would come up, or like other spiritual channels that have black people that are the mediums or the card readers rather than the white people, which I think is probably more prevalent in like all of those avenues of content. I don't know that for sure though. Like, I don't know how big anything is. I just know that white culture is the prevailing everything in America, so I don't think anyone's gonna argue that with me. But when the things with Trump started happening, and it wasn't going good, and so this was months ago, like over the summer before the election and all of that, a lot of us are like, I don't want no parts of Trump. Man, he hates us. I mean, I don't care if he's friends with Mike Tyson or one or two. I'm old, okay? I'm like over 60, so I've been seeing him and his antics for a long time. And I can tell you that he will trend toward racism. So you can do your own homework. I'm not here to tell you what to think, because I hate it when people do that to me. But I am sharing with you what I have learned over time. And more often than not, his commentary would see us dying in unpleasant ways. So 6, 7, I don't know. And the result of that, however, is I'm not the only one that has picked up on that. And when, like, the farmers needed people to come work because the president got rid of all the people that were there to do it because they actually wanted to do it and they're good at it and they've been doing it a long time and it doesn't break their bodies the way it does when they try to bring in the white people, because they were kind of the only ones, I guess, showing up. There's not a lot of coverage on this. I don't think everybody that came probably was not white. Everyone that came, though, has not been doing that work for generations, and it broke people's bodies. They gave up like in the same day in waves. And so that kind of tanked everything around that agriculture sector. And then there was a lot of political crying and what are we going to do? And then also there was this other sort of sub-layer of this panic where it seemed pretty clear that the farmers, these white farmers, expected black people to be all, we used to be slaves, we used to be in the field, we'll come do it for you. Okay, I'm in total agreement with them when they say, I'm not doing that. Nobody wants to go back to that. And when you're alone and you say, nobody wants that, you are talking about yourself. So I'm very pleased to say this time, nobody wants that. It is not just me. And it's so insulting for them to think, just because one of you guys said, you guys didn't mind slavery, slavery was good for you. And then they'll dig up like some person that like stayed with the owner after slavery, like, oh, what is his name? Stephen in The Hateful Eight? The butler, Leo DiCaprio's butler? That shit butthead. So, anyway, we're not doing that. And their attitude around that and other sectors where, or like shopping at Target, like, how could you leave? How could they not? Like, Target was expensive for me. I'm more of a Walmart guy, but Target was like big in the black community, and you could see it in the advertising. But that's not something you can turn on and off. It's like friendship. If you act stupid to a person and you give them reason to distrust you, or you in some way offend or otherwise hurt them, they're gonna leave your ass, dummy. Like, hello. So, the attitude that I've been seeing while all of the politics have been going down from then till now is like, enjoy yourselves, because, you know, they never want to properly include, like, anybody hardly that's not Caucasian. And when I say they, I'm referring to, like, the government, authorities, lots of stuff. This is why I don't like to talk about this stuff, because, you know, then I'm supposed to cite my information. I don't feel the need to cite any damn thing, because history speaks for itself regarding these matters. So if you doubt me in some way, let me just say, not just in this country, every country has had a turn at, like, kicking down the black guy. Look at Europe at Christmas time and see how many black villains that are part of their Christmas that black people see and go, at least hear and go, what the F is, what? And then they're just like, oh, ha, 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 ha. It's nothing, like all these, like, Swedes, oh, ha, ha, or whatever. It's nothing. We don't mean anything bad. And it's like, it's not up to you to say, you know? But the ones in Europe, I guess, are just all, whatever that. And actually, I can kind of understand that, where they'd be all, whatever, like, do whatever you need to with the thing. And just, like, it's a part of life. You just move on. And because that's, like, the reality of being a race, you know? At some point, you face this wall of racism, and it's mainly white. And then, mainly, okay, I'm not saying other people that are not white don't take it up. That's a whole other avenue that I do not. That's a bad part of town. I don't want to go there. So, anyway, that's why I try to keep my commentary, you know, to here in the States so I can know what the hell I'm talking about. But, you know, history, if you're honest, will show how black people, indigenous people have been the doormat forever, and it's like, I think you people have gotten all of us all wrong. Like, but I don't need to say more because these kinds of revelations are going to be coming in the very near future, I'm sure. So, my point of saying all of that is that I wouldn't look for black people to come running in like, oh my God, poor Renee Good, like, we should, like, get behind him. I don't think he's wrong about that. I don't think we should be differentiating. Like, I don't think that we races should be perpetuating the separation that is counterproductive. And that is why I don't, even before all of this, that is why I'm like, okay, I'm here where I ended up because that's where life put me, and I'm just doing my life here. I'm not going to just be all, you know, it's very layered. But I'm just saying, like, for, like, my family's sake, for example, for them to feel like I'm black enough, I'm not gonna, like, go be where I live and be all anti and against, like, the people, which are majority of white people around me. Like, I don't know. I'm just, like, not militant about it. I feel more like, and because I know this is true, this is not me, this is not my hair, this is like a costume that I am wearing for this live performance that I'm doing. Do I have to explain that? God, I hope not, because I'm not going to anyway. Hopefully you're already caught up on what I'm talking about, because I want to get to the point here. I do have cards. So, yeah, I wouldn't look for, like, the black community to be all coming together. And just to punctuate that, I was watching David Dole, who's Canadian, and he talks about Canadian and American news a lot. Like, it's like he's part of the alternate news community that you can see on places like YouTube or TikTok and blah, blah, blah. So, when Renee Good was assassinated, he did a report, and I just watched it as I normally do, because I just watch his show, and he was so heartbroken and saddened, and it was so cruel, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, well, wait, did you do that when that girl was sleeping in her apartment in Georgia with her boyfriend, and the police busted in the wrong door and shot another first responder and killed her? Because I have been watching him now for years, and I don't remember such a heartfelt outpouring over anybody black that's died, and there's been many, and so that kind of hurt me a little bit, but that's what happens when you're, like, pretty much surrounded by the white community. So, like, it's not just all happy days and sunshine anywhere you are, kind of, when you're a race. I'm not going to just single out one, because I know it doesn't happen to just one of us. Anyway, I just wanted to say that all, and then I want to talk about how I was looking at the clouds today and what the clouds were saying. So, when I first started looking at them, I saw a face. And I'm looking at white and, like, blue and gray, okay? Like, you know what a cloudy sky looks like. And it's been kind of stormy, so it's more cloud than sky, but you got all of the colors in there. So I'm just looking at it, and I see a face, and it's a dark face, like a dark complected face. And it's the colors of the sky, right? But it's clearly indicating to me that this is a darker person. Like maybe a darker Asian person, or a darker African person, or a darker Latino person. Kind of hard to say, because the image changed really fast into something else. And then it just started changing into all these different faces, and they had all these complexions, all these different colored people. Like, clearly someone that was like, oh my gosh, you're like Scandinavian or British, like someone very white. Or someone like Japanese or Chinese or Taiwanese or just it just went on for a while, and then it just switched, and it was like an old man with a hat, like a boater, not a cowboy hat, not a boater, I don't know, some kind of flat top, broad brimmed hat, like you'd see a judge wearing in a cowboy show from the 60s. And he had like big boofy white, because it's clouds, big boofy white eyebrows, a big mustache that was kind of long and came out like Wario, I think, has that. I'm not a gamer. And then a beard, white floofy beard. But the nose was a big long Pinocchio nose. And then it would turn into a kitten. Pinocchio nose guy, kitten, Pinocchio guy, kitten. And I was like, well, what the heck does that mean? But I think the Pinocchio guy just generally represented our, like, government or politicians, and maybe not just ours here in the United States, but just generally, and how they're all, like, perpetuating these stories for a really terrible reason. Like, I think the underlying reason, God, I might get dinged for saying this, but I think the underlying reason that the Epstein stuff doesn't really come flying out, or the Diddy stuff either, is because the big business of the globe is trafficking. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get dinged. But I think that's what everyone is hiding from. Like, there's lots of other financial and environmental crimes out there, I am sure. But I think the big business that kind of supports it all and supports the tastes of very, I'm going to say expensive people, you know what I mean, with lots of expenses that they can actually pay for and not really miss the money. Those kind of people, they have tastes, and this is the perception, and I don't think it's just mine, but their tastes often involve something that, like, the average guy is not going to be doing, because that's low and common, and we got to always be doing things that are bigger and better and above and beyond, like, average Joe guy can do. We have expensive tastes. We have, whatever, eclectic, you know? So, I mean, just think of Jeffrey Epstein describing the proceedings at Rape Island as a bacchanal. Look that up. Like, just look it up. I believe you would find it under BACCANAL. But there's a mythology and a story behind those words, and that is why I refer to the place the way I did, and I'm not the only one. So, why did I start talking about that grossness? Oh, that, what everybody seems to be trying to hide is their involvement and what their tastes led them to do. Like, I'm reminded of Armie Hammer, who scared a bunch of women talking about wanting to eat them, like food, like consume and digest them. And so, he got into a lot of trouble with the press. His own press got really bad. His work dried up. And that worldwide sort of syndicate is very strong, and they manipulate what the general public sees and hears in a lot of ways. And they edit and censor what we can know in a lot of ways, you know, and they have control, and there's a lot of handshakes and deals that go on, I'm sure. So maybe behind the scenes, Hammer did something to offend someone, and then he got put out there and as a punishment, and the punishment was losing everything publicly and being humiliated. because you will hear humiliation ritual a lot, and we'll look that up, because I'm not going to try to explain everything or I'll never get anything done here. But maybe he just stumbled and things just went wrong for him when all of that cannibal stuff was happening. Or maybe behind the scenes he did something wrong to someone. And the reason why I know anything like that, and I don't know it, not as a personal experience, it was something I long suspected, that people did things for reasons and then were people owed for, like, getting fame or getting introductions or getting a gig, like whatever it is. And I'm just gonna stick with entertainment for now. There's like always a handshake, a quid pro quo, and it sounded like they're just awful. A lot of my teeth moved. Sorry. Sounds like the quid pro quos are awful a lot of times. Like what you have to give up in order for the entertainment executive to allow you to do the thing you're great at, that you've spent your whole life perfecting, that is your passion. And then by doing that, they just ruin it for those people. Unless they just really want the fame or really want to just get out there and do their thing, and they're like, I'll do it at any cost. And that's a decision that thankfully I have never had to make. Because, having my suspicions sort of realized about this, I mean, I at some point early on, I discovered that, oh, you know what? I like being a musician. This was before I got sick, though, and couldn't musician. But I was like, I like being a musician, but actually, I don't know, the fame and money is looking kind of crappy, because, like, stalkers and things, and managers stealing your money, and family, like, all over you all the time for your money, and not really giving a crap about you or what you did to earn the money, which is the thing that's important to the artist. Yeah, it's weird. So, what's also weird is how connected that industry is to other industries, like defense. Someone I was watching on a black tube was talking about how wars are the perfect opportunity to restock your trafficking stock, to re-up your supply, because it's real easy to disappear people of all ages. And one of the things we don't know, but we have a terrible idea of, is the people that are disappeared and no trace. And not just in war, probably a lot of times, not exclusively, but a lot of times, that's how people just disappear off the streets sometimes. Or people that you don't expect to be wrapped up in anything shady as a victim or a participant, and they just disappear without a trace, and it's just weird, and you don't know, like, you have nothing. That's an explanation. And so if it's a global business, they're going to constantly need stock. I don't know. I was talking about this with my friend, and we were both like, God, we're so lucky we didn't get snatched up, because we both spent years high as a kite and drunk as an idiot, wandering around at 3 o'clock in the morning and on the streets, like, whew. Also, remember, we're in the Matrix. Just, that's not really, like, just as a way to sum it up. So, okay, I said all of the little things, and now I have cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. First we have Lost Compass. Getting back to integrity. Okay, so this card is number 8. Sorry, why don't I let you look at the card? It's got a compass looking thing on there, and you can see it's the number 35 card. And that numerologically breaks down to an 8. And let me just say numerological light. There's so much more to it than what I do here, but I mention it because 8 means strength in tarot and also numerology. So I would say that we have definitely lost our compass in America. We no longer are adhering, and when I say we, I mean America and our leaders, because they are sort of driving the way things are going right now. Or not sort of, they are. And they are ignoring the Constitution, they're ignoring norms, checks and balances are not being checked or balanced, and the president is being allowed to just, and by the Supreme Court, like with their stamp of approval, is why a lot of this is being allowed to happen. But there are ways to do more than just object, and I just feel like people are not doing that, at least not in front of the scenes, not on the stage that we can all see where what's going on. Behind the scenes, I suspect a lot is happening. And the reasons why we're not hearing about it may not have to do with the same reasons people are doing things politically that are gonna be like, this is your last ever as an elected. And for people to go along with all of this just for money, or even out of like being coerced and in some way forced to, I don't know that we should be looking at the ones that are leaving as cowards, because I know one thing behind the scenes, oopsie, that the ETs have been saying is the white hats have been clearing. Whoa, come on now. What is wrong with you? Anyway, the white hats, the anti-Trumps, the anti, what is that, 2025 thing, that document on the right that is like, take all the rights away that everyone worked so hard to gain, and is terrible. Like, don't educate, don't have babies, go home only, or don't have babies, do have babies, only be home, women, and all of these ideas that we work so hard to undo are like, let's go backward. That's what they want. And I'm sorry, and this time it is just me saying nobody wants that, but I don't think I'm alone. I think the nobody in this case is all of us. Or, I can't say all, a lot of us. Because some of us like this mayhem and carnage and, letting their effing a-hole flag fly. I don't want to get dinged. Okay, so getting back to integrity is what we need to do. And I feel like right now there is an unseen struggle between the public that's against what the authorities are doing to the public. And it's a mental, spiritual war, but it's definitely a tug of war. Like, we are struggling over what we feel is the definition of right in this country, like right behavior. And so we definitely need to find that compass and start using it to find our North Star and finding our way back to treating each other like we are. Why are we trying to start a war with each other? In what world is that a good idea? Who does that serve, really? What, you get to take out your anger on people that you're mad at, that you don't even know, that you just have like an idea that's been told you that they're the cause of all of your problems? No! If you have a problem, you start with you and then work outward and see like where does the problem go. It's not the problem is not out there doing stuff to you. Did you put yourself in the way of a problem? we really have to consider that. Those of us that are trying to blame things on other people, that's crazy. And then, like, believing stuff about whole races of people, like, if you haven't actually spent time with them other than the brief periods that you have seen them from a distance or something, you don't know. Do they know you? Do they know how you are at home? Do they know your not public self? Like, when you, like, get home and let your hair hang down and, it's like, how can you think that you know when they don't know you? Does that make sense? It does not make sense to me. Okay, rant concluded. The next card is a number 25. That's 7. Garden of Eden. You see, there we go. Is that better? It was kind of glary. And then I knocked my phone over and it went all weirdly bright. And I don't know. I don't like it now. Anyway, subtitle on this card is hard to see. Rest and renewal. So, this reminds me of the Inner Earth card in my Starseeds deck, Starseed Oracle deck, because it has you looking out from a protected place, like you're coming out from, you're looking at the exit of a cave, and that makes me think of, like, your home being a refuge, like, there's the man cave or the woman shed, but your home is like the home cave. The whole home can be the cave, but it's your place where you have all of your favorite stuff and you feel secure and safe and you're out of the elements and away from the people, the bad people. Unless you want to, like, turn on some bad people tube screen of some kind and expose yourself to that. The news of the world. So, perhaps as we find ourselves in the midst of this raging world right now, you need to go to your home cave and rest and renew and prepare yourself for the next time that you have to go out in the world or see what the world is doing and kind of live through it. Because even though a person, actually several now, have passed due to interaction and interference with ice, we all feel the impact of it. Like what I was saying to begin with, the black community may not be inclined to, like, show up in the way that the rest of the world, or the rest of our countrymen would hope and expect. But don't think that they don't know what's happening. Don't think that they're unaware. I mean, the situation is very fluid. There could be a total shift in consciousness regarding them and everything else in the world, or us, I should say, although I'm, like, kind of feeling like I have a foot in both worlds, or several worlds. As I mentioned in my last video, apparently I'm some sort of spider or tripod or something, because I can have feet in a lot of dimensions. I'm not alone. This is everyone. That's why I say, I may have made it sound like they're not paying attention and not showing up, and it's deliberate, but don't assume that they're not paying attention and that they don't know what's happening, and that they could at any time change their mind and show up as a huge force the way the farmers expected us to, but not that. This other thing that is as important but more. Okay, so the next card is the number 62, and that's an 8 again. So I didn't really, like, say anything about the 7. 7, off the top of my head, is like a good luck number. It is a ladder number in tarot, so you're moving upward, you're moving forward. 8 again. We're back to strength, which is I think is something we have to keep finding within ourselves after we do some rest and renewal, or like a quick meditation on your break at work for 10 minutes. If you quit smoking and you don't know what to do with yourself over your break, you can meditate. You don't even need to take your whole break. But if you got a 15-minute break, I mean, it's only 15 minutes. You can pretty much do like one thing. Meditation, not fattening, not nicotine. Adds to the general wellness of the collective. Wink, wink. Okay, so Will-o'-the-Wisp. Here's what it looks like. Will-o'-the-Wisp, as I knew it, was like phantom drifting bits of fog, like in a way that is shaped differently, so that it almost is like a vertical thing that is sort of like floating by, if you've ever seen it. And I don't know. Look, I am not an atmospheric expert at all. I'm just telling you. I'm just relating what I've seen. So, okay. I often see like a fountain. This looks like the bottom of a fountain, and there would be water. But then flying up out of it is like this face of a figure, and there seems to be a wings situation. Water wings. I mean, all of that, just like the clouds, could be like just a snapshot of what a fountain does in a moment. But it's not a fountain of water that's, I mean, it might be to some degree, but all of this with the wings and the face, you know, water has consciousness. Or did you know? Gosh, what is the guy's name? There's a Japanese scientist, I can never remember his name, so terrible, but he discovered that if he spoke to water in a different way, in various ways, and then tested the condition of the water, he found that the water started to behave differently if you were mean to it, if you spoke to it like you were mad at it, you know, if you spoke to it like it was an entity and you were like pissed off at it, the water reacted. And then if you showed the water love and appreciation, the water also reacted again in a different way, in a healthier way. So water does have consciousness. You could look it up. Sorry, I can't remember. I guess, never mind. So the subtitle on this is, let me finish what I was saying. This could be an expression of the water. Is in like that snapshot moment that maybe occurs so fast you don't even see it physically, like realize that you've seen it, like you don't register that it's there but the briefest of moments. And that happens all the time, where in the briefest of moments, there is something happening that we're seeing and that we should take note of. And so, okay, and the subtitle reads, Treasures Hidden Within the Shadows. We're having some dark times right now. I'd call it pretty shadowy. But the thing about it is like night and day. Eventually the night is over and day dawns, and it changes things. It brings a new light to things. So it might take us a while to react. Like I was lamenting, well, actually have been for years, waiting for people to realize what the situation was and how horrible it was that we had chosen, some of us, to elect the guy again. The first time was bad enough. people didn't understand like the problems that some of us had with electing the president that we have right now. Do you understand now what the people were foreseeing about the guy that was there for everybody to see all along? Scolding, don't do that. Bad me, because we all make mistakes. We have our hopes and things, and sometimes they work, and I think that is because on like levels that we can see and levels that we can't see, there has to be a collective agreement for things to work. I mean, things are always doing exactly what they should. Golly, man! Ever since I knocked over my phone, it's the light is bad. Like, I hope it's not filming what it's doing. Okay, now it's darkening. Now it's light again. And please get out of this light. It looks like too much, like it's messing up the screen almost. Okay, anyway, the next card is number 18, and so there's a 9. Okay, we're moving up. That is like the completion number. And so this card is Eyes of the Eagle. So I was just talking about the day dawning and changing the perspective and us kind of being slow to react to what's been happening. And that's changing, I think, especially with the events of the people getting lost forever to ICE, either in detention or out on the street. That is waking us the heck up. Like, if you didn't feel like we were engaged and involved before, the more this happens, like them shooting a priest in the head with non-lethal, but it's still something shot at you with velocity. Like, I'm sure he got at least a goose egg and a concussion, and the poor guy's been knocked down by them a couple of times too, and it's like, okay, Christian nation, what the heck are you doing knocking down the Christian cleric? You're not making a whole lot of sense, but the days are dawning and the light is getting brighter so that more of us can take out our seeing glass and we're catching the details, and I think like understanding is dawning, like just what exactly we've gotten ourselves into. So the subtitle on this card is Rising Above the Fray. Okay, here's the other thing. Ooh, I'm glad I remembered this. Okay, get the chill. So, I was on Blue Sky, and I commented that it just doesn't seem very bright of me to keep pushing and pushing these, like, lefty people, because where the ICE is going a lot of times will be a blue city, and they'll hit it really hard and be excessively cruel, to my eyes anyway. And I think that people on the left can only be pushed so far, and I would really watch out for people on the right going in and pulling those tactics. And they've gone into a couple of red cities, but I don't remember hearing much about stuff happening there, or maybe I'm dreaming it up that they went to red cities. I don't know. I just know that they go into the blue cities hoping to push people around and hoping to push them, I feel like, into taking action, like unwise action, like trying to fight back. So people have mainly stuck to words, as far as I know, and if you're bringing words to a gunfight, the gunfighter is in the wrong. If we lose someone, I mean, there's no angles that can hide that. No matter how you doctor them, no matter what's in the way, the bottom line is you brought a gun to a word fight and somebody lost the ultimate battle, and you caused that because you have the gun. So that is not something that I would like to see happen. I feel like the key to winning this is to not respond in kind as much as possible. However, the reason why so many people have a weapon is, they say, for protection. This is not protection, bringing it out on the street to use it against someone that you're disagreeing with. Even if it's a ersatz federal law, or federal, God, I don't even know what to call them, because they're not law enforcement officers. They're just jack officers. They're jack officers. They're not officers of any kind. They're not police. They're closer to lice. Sorry to all of the lice out there. I said this already on Blue Sky. Kill me if you're seeing it again. Or you know what? Don't kill me. Forgive me. What am I saying? Okay, so this is the number 6 card, and it is Cosmic Womb. So, since we don't really have a vocabulary for that, or an image slideshow for what a cosmic womb looks like, you just kind of have to, imagine it. But here is the faint imagining that's illustrated on here. And I always see a heart, first and foremost, right there. Whoop, there's a heart. And today I see a keyhole in it. What I don't see very well is where the embryo would be if this is a womb. It is up in the sky, so there's your cosmic. This is unformed. This is incubation, or gestation, rather. And we know when it began in the world, where the problems began for this particular term of administration. What we don't know is how it's all going to play out. We can hope for the best. We can nurture the situation more with love and less with anger and guns, if at all, whenever possible, because that is going to serve us better in the end, whatever it happens to be. However, since the shift has also happened, it has happened, we have shifted. Now, we have to acclimate ourselves to it and prepare ourselves for the next one, because it is coming. It is on the way. And it is not going to be, I don't think, as negative as what we're used to. And the reason why I say that is because I really believe it, because what has been happening for the past 2 months is something comes up and something happens and it looks insurmountable, and it looks like, oh my God, what a hassle, or what a nightmare, and then I got all excited and upset for nothing. I did the things that you just do, and sometimes there was a little bit of problem, a little bit of resistance to what I was trying to accomplish, but eventually, and it didn't take that long, considering how freaked out I felt to begin with, for things to just turn out okay, actually. So I'm just saying, it may not look like things are going to resolve into what we would like to see or anything good, but hold back on that. You might be surprised, because something has definitely changed. I've noticed it for quite a while now, but I'm looking for it. I'm expecting it. Everyone else may not be. And the situation, especially when incidents like what I've been talking about here happen, it kind of lets the air out of hope. But that is the time where you really have to double down, because that is, if you are willing to surrender to things being terrible, you're going to feed that. And if you feed that, you might be feeding it with other people, and which would create a collective situation that I would prefer we don't have to go through. Been there, done that, all of us. If you haven't experienced it personally, you've witnessed it. And no one needs to be impacted that way anymore. Like, it's time for us to have happier, healthier experiences, and we can do that. Like, we can just do that. We can make the decision that, God, we're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Let's do something else. Let's do things differently. Instead of, let's do something we've done for hundreds of years and has caused nothing but misery and problems. We don't have to, it does not have to be that way. We just have to decide that we're not going to allow things to be that way. We're going to allow for things that are happy, healthier, what people want. Okay, so I did pull finally a Declarations of Mary Magdalene card just because I felt like, I don't know, there would be an insight to all of this madness. And so here's what it says. Our right to love another in the essence of the Trinity is of pure form, when thy heart knows the truth of creation's sacred holy vow to one another in love's highest light. So this almost sounds like a marriage card or something like that, but how about it's a spiritual contract card, just like the social contract, where I would say, let's not do these things to each other like I just did. Mary is saying, the reason we don't do the things to each other is out of love. And even sometimes the things we do to each other that are not great are out of love. Not in that particular experience itself, but the fact that we're giving one another the experience. So even when things are really terrible and horrible and we have someone that we can name that's done the terrible and horrible thing, just remember that on a whole other level than is obvious, this person is now going to take on a lot of heartache for having done that. And I'm sure at some point he will have to face legal justice, and that's as it should be. But for as much as the survivors of Renee Good are hurting, this man is hurting in another way. And so all of the parties involved, by way of pre-birth contracts, already agreed to this, and everybody witnessing it already agreed to witness it. So we're all of us, everyone, gaining something for this experience, for experiencing the positive of it and the negative of it, all of it. It's a gift from all of us to each other, and you do that out of love. Even though it looks and sounds horrible, it's not going to always be that way, and it will be a catalyst to gooder and better. That is my interpretation of the card. So also, it's always darkest before the dawn, and the dawn is always going to keep coming no matter what. Like, there's no lifetime on this planet right now that is not going to see a dawn coming. I really think that is the case. Okay, thank you and good night.